Hello everyone, thank you for showing your support to my channel by subscribing it. Those who have not subscribed, please subscribe to be updated. Today I am going to talk about the topic the reproductive system upon the request in the comment box. Now this chapter carries around 7 to 8 marks in the specimen paper, and it has also got some competency questions in the competency based questions shared by ICSE. So let us have a quick recap of the entire chapter important for your exams. So now the reproduction in human beings or the reproductive system. Before coming in details about the reproductive system, we must know what is reproduction. Now what is reproduction? Reproduction is a process of producing of one's own kind. Okay. Now it can be by one parent, that is asexual reproduction, or it can be by two parents, that is sexual reproduction. Always remember, in asexual reproduction you have only one parent and there is no gametes, and in sexual reproduction you have two parents and there is a gamete formation, right, and this leads to variation. Now we have already studied in chapter 2 about the crossing over that takes place in meiosis. In that there is a process called synapsis, where you have the recombinant DNA being formed by the exchange of chromatids, right? That causes variations. So we all are unique. We are not just the replica of our parents. We have our own characteristics, and that is because of the sexual reproduction. Now reproduction in human beings. Reproduction in human beings, in this chapter we will be talking about the two main reproductive system, that is the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. In the male reproductive system you have the male gamete, which is called the sperm. The diagram is very important. And in female the reproductive the gamete is ovum. Please remember, there is a difference between ovum and egg. Ovum is the female gamete. Egg is ovum plus extra things present along with the ovum. Like if you talk about the chicken egg, you have the ovum surrounded by the yolk, that is, and the albumin. So entire content is called an egg, but the female gamete is called the ovum. I hope it's clear. So now let us have a quick dive to the male reproductive system. Now when you talk about the male reproductive system, we have to talk about the structure, the diagram. You must know how to label the diagram, and I'll draw a very easy diagram for you all so that you understand. Then in that case you have to know what are the ducts present, what are the accessory glands. So we'll go in the detail of the diagram. Okay, before that, you know that the urinary bladder and the urethra. We all are aware that males have got the longer urethra as compared to the females. That is the reason why females are more prone to UTI, that is urinary tract infections, as compared to males. So now this is the ureter and this is the urinary bladder and this is the urethra. With that you have got this is the penis. Yes, and there is an extra skin, that is a foreskin present over the penis. Now with that there is a testicle, a pair of testicle. There is epididymis, a highly coiled structure, and there is this sperm duct. Okay, the sperm duct passing over the ureter. So let us have it drawn in detail. This is so easy to draw. That's why I draw in front of you all, so that you understand. The diagrams in bio are not difficult. If you understand the structure, you can draw the diagram without seeing. Right. So this is your vas deferens, the sperm duct, and now this is the entire structure. Okay. So what is the main component of the male reproductive system? The male reproductive system consists of testis. What is testis comprised of? A testis contains a lobular structure. You can see this. This is the structure. Huh? These cells, and inside that there is now duct, ejaculatory duct. Around 12 to 14 ejaculatory ducts are there, and this all empty is there. Inside these compartments you have seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules, and these white ones are the interstitial cells or the Leydig cells. So when I say the seminiferous tubules, seminiferous tubules, you remember the chapter excretory system. In that you have uriniferous tubules, right? That was nephrons. Here it is seminiferous tubules, and the white part that I have drawn is the interstitial cells. Interstitial cells, and the space is not enough. Interstitial cells. It is also called the Leydig cells. Okay, Leydig cells. The main function of Leydig cells is to secrete the male hormone testosterone. Okay, and the sperm is being synthesized by this seminiferous tubule that moves through the ducts, ejaculatory ducts, to the epididymis. In epididymis, maturation of the sperm takes place, and then the maturation means they will develop the flagella, they will develop the mobility, and then they move to the vas deferens. This part is the vas deferens. It is also called the sperm duct. Now the matured sperm moves to the vas deferens and goes into the urethra through the ejaculatory duct. Now this is the basic structure. Then we have got certain ducts, as I told you. Ducts are what? You have seen already. You have the epididymis, the vas deferens, the sperm duct, and the ejaculatory duct. The duct is clear. So in the male reproductive system, the first one is the testis. Testis is having two parts, seminiferous tubules and interstitial cells, Leydig cells. These are the two components of the testis. Then you have got ducts. Ducts are three, that is your epididymis, sperm duct, vas deferens, and your ejaculatory duct. Then you have the accessory glands. The accessory name itself tells you that they are the additional components. So accessory glands, you have to remember one, we can say a way to remember how I remember it. It is superboy. What is superboy? It is an order. So you remember the order. What is superboy? I will show you in the diagram. Now in that case, you have got a gland here, the pink color thing, okay, this pink color thing, and then you have got a prostate gland here, and you have got small circle like glands, which is the bulbourethral gland. So you have super and boy. Okay, what are these superboy? This is the seminal vesicle. This is the prostate gland, and this is the bulbourethral gland. Now when you talk about bulbourethral gland, it is also called the Cowper's gland. Okay, so these are the three accessory glands present. After that, you have got a supporting structure, which is penis. Okay, This is what the structure of the male reproductive system is all about. Now let us talk about the function of each. Now location and function. The first one is epididymis. This question is generally asked in the exam. Where is epididymis located? What is the function of epididymis? So epididymis function is maturation of the sperm, and location is, it's a highly coiled knot-like structure present on the top of the pole of the testis. And then you talk about the seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle, prostate gland, bulbourethral is the order. So first what happens, semen, that is sperm is released from the this one, that is seminiferous tubules. They are immature. They move to the epididymis where they matures and attains mobility. The mobile sperm moves through the vas deferens, comes here, and the seminal vesicle releases its secretion into the sperm. Now this one is for the transportation of the sperm. It's required, seminal vesicle secretion is required for the sperm transportation. Now the entire fluid comes and the prostate adds its secretion, which is alkaline. So prostate gland adds an alkaline secretion into the content so that the female reproductive system is slightly acidic. So neutralize the content of the female reproductive system, the secretions of prostate gland helps. And then you have the bulbourethral gland, which releases certain lubricants. Now all this mixture, whatever has come together, it is called semen. So for every ejaculation there is around 2 to 3 ml of the semen being released, which contains around 200 to 400 million sperms in one ejaculation. And how many egg is produced? Only one. So again we study survival of the fittest. So actually the survival of the fittest and the natural selection begins from here only. Yes children, is it clear? Now you can take a screenshot. This is all about the male reproductive system. So now we move to the female reproductive system. So let me clear this. In the meantime, in your comment box, please write what is the age of puberty in men, in boys and girls. Why men? In boys or girls? Yes. At what age the boys and girls attain puberty? Okay. So when you talk about the female reproductive system is simple as compared to the male, but it has complex processes going on within. What is the reason? Now in males, you know that there is single urethra through which the urine is also passed out and semen is also passed out. But in females, you have different openings through which the urine is passed out and the baby is delivered, or even the menstrual blood comes out. Understood? The reason is the reproductive system has to be completely away from the excretory system because it is a place where the baby grows. Yes. So now let us go into the better understanding of the female reproductive system. If you talk about the female reproductive system, you have to draw this way. You have to draw, and you have to draw this way and this. This is the simplest diagram that you could draw. Now here what happens, you have finger-like projections. So finger-like projections, and here also the same way, it should be a symmetrical drawing. I don't know how the drawing is. Just tell me children, how do I draw? Is it understandable? And here you have ovaries. Okay. Now this is the structure. Then you have got the oviduct and the uterus. That is the endometrium. Okay, this is the endometrium. Now what is the component of the female reproductive system? You have got the ovary, you have got the fallopian tube. Fallopian tube. Now before I forget, you have to remember that in the chapter population we have talked about the surgical method of contraception in male and female. In the previous diagram you have seen there is a vas deferens. So cutting and ligating the vas deferens will not allow the sperm to travel up and get mixed with the fluids released. Okay, so that will make the man infertile and does not allow the man to have babies, right? So that is a way of contraception. In females, the fallopian tube is cut and ligated. So now the egg release will not be allowed to meet the sperm. So no fertilization, no baby, right? So this is a way of contraception. Now in ovary, what happens? There is a series of changes. There is primary follicle, secondary follicle, then you have the Graafian follicle, then the egg is released, right? Then corpus luteum, corpus albicans. This is an order, you have to remember the order, right? So we will go into the detail before you understand. This is a place, the uterine wall, which thickens during the menstrual phase, and finally the baby gets implanted in the uterine wall, that is on the walls of the uterus, endometrium. Yes, this is the fallopian tube. This is the site of fertilization. This is the site of fertilization. Understood? So this is the place where ovulation occurs. Ovulation. This is the place where implantation occurs. Implantation. So you have the place where ovulation occurs, the place where fertilization occurs, and the place where implantation occurs. Is that clear to everyone? Take a screenshot. Yes. So now we will talk about the menstrual cycle. Who can tell me what is the age of the beginning of the menstrual cycle in females? Yes? Who can tell me that? Now before I draw the diagram or write about the menstrual cycle, I will talk about certain hormones first, okay? That is an important question. As we know that the Leydig cells and the interstitial cells produces a male hormone which is called testosterone. Similarly, in females, the main hormone is estrogen. What releases estrogen? The ovary. Ovary has got follicles. Follicles release the initial estrogen level. Now understand, when the follicle releases estrogen, the level of estrogen increases in your blood, right? That estrogen goes to your pituitary and makes pituitary release FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone. Actually, there is a hypothalamus in between. It regulates the release, that senses, the sensing is done by the hypothalamus, and then FSH is released. Once FSH is released, the follicle stimulating hormone, it releases the primary follicles to get converted into secondary follicles, and finally the main one, that is the Graafian follicle, that is a complete mature follicle which is called Graafian follicle. Now with the increased level of FSH, now these follicles release estrogen. Now increased level of estrogen promotes the release of luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone, or LH, causes ovulation. So now what happens? Graafian follicle ruptures and ovulation happens. Now this ovulation ke baad what happens? The LH has increased, ovulation has taken place. Now the Graafian follicle changes into corpus luteum, which is the yellow color mass. Corpus luteum is endocrine in function. It releases a hormone called progesterone mainly and certain amount of estrogen. Now progesterone is a pregnancy hormone. P for progesterone, P for pregnancy hormone. So when progesterone is released, it maintains a state in the uterus that a pregnancy can happen. Now suppose fertilization has taken place. So the corpus luteum will persist there, keep on releasing progesterone and will maintain the pregnancy. But suppose that the fertilization does not take place, then this corpus luteum changes into corpus albicans, and finally the progesterone level will drop and the menstrual cycle will start. So what are the different phases of the menstrual cycle? This question can be asked in exam, arranged in logical sequence. So you have the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle has got 4 phases, children. You have to remember this, okay? M fall. M fall. What is M fall? The menstrual phase. The menstrual phase, that is around 3 to 5 days. Then you have the follicular phase. that is around 5 to 12 days. Then you have got ovulatory phase, that is around 13-14th day, but we generally write in the exam whenever a question is asked, on the 14th day the ovulation happens. And finally the luteal phase. Now luteal phase is 15 to 28 days. So if you consider the entire cycle for 28 days, this is how the division takes place. Fine. In female, as I have already asked the question, the initiation of the puberty, that is around 10 to 14 years of age, the initiation is called menarche, and the stoppage of the menstrual cycle, that is around 45 to 50 years, it is menopause. This question can be asked in the exam. Correct the sentence, differentiate, define, in whatever way this question can be asked. Arrange in logical sequence, mention the phases, the question can be asked. Is this clear? Any doubt? You can put it in the comment box. Children, if you have any doubt related to any topic that I am teaching, you can put the doubt in the comment box. I will reply to your messages. If any diagram is needed, put it in the comment box. I will reply, I will send the diagrams to you. Okay. So this is what the menstrual cycle is all about. Now next what we are going to talk about are the different terms related to this chapter. Yes. So now when different terms, what are the terms that we will study? Fertilization. Okay. So the first term that we will talk about, fertilization. Here the key words are the fusion of the male gamete and the female gamete to produce zygote. This is your fertilization. Next one is implantation. Implantation, that is fixing up of the blastocyst on the walls of the uterus, endometrium wall of the uterus, it is called implantation. That is the thick wall on that the embedding of the blastocyst takes place. Okay. So these two is clear to you. Ovulation is the release of ovum. Which hormone is responsible for the release of ovum? Write down in the comment box. Is this clear, everyone? You can just write down. Give me a thumbs up if you think it is understood. Next, what we will be talking about is the pregnancy or the development of the embryo. Before I explain you the diagram, embryo, fetus, what is the difference? Embryo is what? Just after fertilization, up till 7 weeks, that is called an embryo. When no organs are developed, it's just a mass of cell, right? When the organs start developing in the embryo and starts looking like human-like appearance begins to in the embryo, it is called fetus. Generally, it happens at around 7 to 8 weeks. So, understood the difference between embryo and the fetus? Then, what is pregnancy? Pregnancy is a state, is a condition in which a female carries a unborn till it is delivered. That is from the contraception to the delivery. It is also called gestation. What is gestation period? It is a time period, 280 days. What is it? Don't write 9 months, 280 days. Is this clear? What is gestation period? 280 days. Now let us understand about the baby growing in the uterus. Okay. So now as you know, this is the uterus. I am not going in the detail of the uterus. So you have a finger-like projection that starts from the uterine wall. Then you have a layer. I'll tell you the name of the layer. Then again you have one more layer. Okay. Here you have the baby, and the baby has got a connection with the placenta through the umbilical cord. Remember, there is never a mixing of blood taking place between the mother and the baby. There is a network of capillaries here and here which are intervened among themselves, but the blood never mixes. It's just like an organ, a temporary organ formed during pregnancy is placenta. You understood what is placenta? So what is the function of placenta? Placenta is to absorb the shock. If in case of any mechanical there is any shock, mechanical injury, the mother falls down. So what will protect the baby? This fluid will protect the baby, and at the same time the fluid provides enough pressure on the baby for the specific growth. Is that clear? Any doubt? No? Yes. Next one, what we will be talking about is the endocrine system, endocrine gland. You know that placenta also serves as an endocrine gland, right? It releases estrogen and progesterone, right? And the exchange of nutrients takes place between the baby and the mother through the umbilical cord, and the finger-like projections from the baby, it is called the allantois, and this is the placenta. You remember ACP? ACP Pradyuman, ACP. So you have A, C and P in order, okay. So A is the amnion, C is the chorion and P is the placenta. Between the embryo and the amnion is the amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid. The baby practices breathing, digestion, everything with the amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid also has got certain cells of the baby which is used in prenatal diagnostic, where you want to find out the gender of the child or whether the child is suffering from any kind of disorder. So you can use this amniotic fluid. This is all about the baby growing in the womb. Then you talk about what is parturition. Parturition is the delivery of the full term grown fetus. That is the completely grown baby. When it is delivered by the mother, it is called parturition. There is a word called micturition in the excretory system chapter, expulsion of urine. So difference between micturition and parturition can be asked. Parturition, pregnancy, please relate. Micturition is for expulsion of urine, parturition is for the delivery of the baby. Next topic is twins. So now twins, when you talk about, what is twins? Two babies are born together. You can have triplets, you can have quadruplets, that is 4 babies, right? There is a record of having 11 babies at one time. So what are twins? Now you know that when there is an ovum and it is fertilized by the sperm, the zygote is formed. Okay, the zygote is formed. Now this zygote, the zygote will split into 2 cells and each will develop into baby 1, baby 2. These 2 are the twins, and since one zygote is involved, it is a monozygotic twins. Clear? Monozygotic twins. Next one, you talk about there are 2 eggs formed. Here the female or the mother is super ovulating. 2 eggs are formed. So there will be 2 zygote formed. Zygote 1 and zygote 2. It will develop into baby 1 and it will develop into baby 2. So these are dizygotic twins. Dizygotic twins. They will be not alike. They will be totally different, similar to the normal siblings. Okay, but here in this case they will have same gender, same genotype, same appearance. So they are identical twins. They are non-identical twins. So when now there are certain more other twins like conjoined twins and all. Abhi you imagine the splitting. If the splitting does not happen properly, then obviously 2 babies are joined to each other and born. That is the conjoined twins, the Siamese twins, right? So this is all about the chapter. If you like the chapter, give me thumbs up in the comment box and let me know what you have not understood. And please comment that what you want next video on. Your exam is approaching, children, 24th of March. Before that, all the doubts must be cleared. So please put it in the comment box what you want next, right? Happy learning. Enjoy. Have a nice day.